The cost per click is how much money you make every time someone clicks on an ad on your website. This is determined entirely by the advertisers. So if an advertiser is in the United States and they're paying $1 per click, then you will get a percentage every time they click on one of your ads on your website. So you get 68% of every dollar that is made from Google. Google takes their share, which is 32%, and you get the rest, which is a pretty high percentage actually. So it's all driven by the advertisers. If an advertiser has more money to spend, then that's what is going to affect the cost per click. So you want to actually attract the advertiser that has the most money, or attract the advertiser that you can get the most money out of and the most visitors. If you can't get any visitors, even though they pay a lot, it's not of any value to you. So with the advertisers, it's going to depend on what country they have. Obviously, the more wealthy the country is, the more that they're going to be able to pay every time somebody clicks on one of their ads. So this is just using Google Analytics, and we're going to have a look at some of the information here. You can see the countries here. You can see the United States, United Kingdom, Canada. These are all wealthy countries, so they're going to have more money to spend on ads, which means more money for you because you're getting a share of that money that comes in. India has a lower amount that advertisers are willing to spend or want to spend, so the cost per click is going to be lower. Australia is going to be higher, Malaysia is going to be lower, and so on. Ireland's higher, Philippines is lower. South Africa is actually mid-range. There's actually some pretty high South Africa cost per clicks. Singapore is high as well. So this is a pretty good list. And it's also going to depend what language you are writing in. If you're not writing in English, you may not be attracting some of these countries. Like Canada, if you're writing in Spanish, you're not going to get as many people in Canada, but you will get people from the United States if you're writing in Spanish. But it depends, again, how much are the advertisers willing to spend, and how much that's basically all that matters. So each advertiser is going to have a different requirement for what type of site they want to advertise on. So if you look at the type of content, let's just have a look at the different types here. So you can see here that a lot of this content is coming, the 10 most exciting jobs in the world. So the question is, how many people, let's actually just sort this by entrances to make it a little simpler. Okay, so how many advertisers want to advertise on this article? Now you might have people who are advertising jobs or maybe resumes, those kind of things. This might be pointed towards somebody who is looking for a new career. So it's advertisers such as those. That could be a decent paying niche, just decent paying group of advertisers that would want to pay for that. It depends though. Sometimes you have to test it out because this may be too general and not specific enough. So it may not attract the advertisers that are needed and get enough clicks on it. So this one, high-tech gadgets, you can see that this would be for software or gadgets, technology. This would probably have a higher cost per click. The same thing with computer or laptop accessories, higher cost per click because these are advertisers that have real money to spend. Now this is a travel. This one, it depends because this could work out. 7 facts that make the Dead Sea the most baffling place on earth. If you can get travel advertisers, travel can pay decent, and so that can be a valuable thing. So you can see that these are kind of based around best cities again is on travel. So these can bring in high revenues. If you were to write something like the 10 funniest stories I've ever heard, like if that was the title of your article, it may not do that well because it doesn't give the advertiser something to, advertise about. Your 10 stories are just personal experiences. Well, how will a advertiser, promote something that's relevant to it? So that's the second thing that you want to pay attention to. you have to think about from the advertiser's mind, and you also have to think about what content you can produce that will be of good quality and, be able to build an audience with. Now, another thing is the order of the ads. So it does depend what order the ads are in. And what I mean by that is if this second ad was getting the most clicks, that means that this one would still get the highest cost per click, even though it got less clicks. And this will get the lower cost per click. The reason why this is because it's a bidding system. And so they filled this one with the highest bid. Basically, this one will always make the most money if it's at the top. And then the second one will make the second most. It just goes down the line that way. So what you need to do is try to have your best paying ad at the top. Or the other thing you can do is whatever one's getting the most clicks, there's actually a way that you can rearrange the coding to make that happen. It's going to be very uncommon, but just know that, just look for it, and you can look it up online. Just search for Adsense order of ads or something like that. It's on Google AdSense website as well, how to do that. But it is important because sometimes you will have, a funny ad up here. This will generally work the best if you have a big block ad like this. But let's say that you have a smaller ad and it just is not getting you any results, and you have the bigger block a little way down. That means that you would probably have to rearrange them in the way that it's coded on your website. One other thing that affects cost per click is the ad type, like the ad size, because sometimes whenever you put the smaller ads in here, there's not as many advertisers bidding for that ad, which means they're not willing to pay as much. So what happens is these ones will have a higher cost per click just naturally, these bigger ones, and some of the smaller ones have a smaller cost per click, a lower cost per click. So you just have to keep that in mind and test it out, because each different ad style will have a different cost per click. So those are the three things that you have to basically consider whenever you're looking to get a decent cost per click: the country, the content type, and the order of the ads. And you basically just want to put out good quality information. Google encourages you not to write only because it is a high cost per click. So for example, so here are some high cost per click categories: insurance, loans, mortgages, attorney, credit, lawyer, donate, degree, real estate, software, gas, electricity, recovery. Those are all things that pay out at a high cost per click. Google discourages you just writing on these if you don't know anything about them. They say that you should write on something that you know about. My point of view is you should write whatever you can get traffic for. Whatever you can get traffic for and put out decent or good quality content, that I think is the most important thing.